Last word.
The gentleman is recognized for 5 minutes.
Before I begin, I want to acknowledge and thank a lot of folks that have partaken in this amendment. I think it's just a long step. It's a final step in a long process. Mr. Courtney has been very, very helpful. Mr. Welsh, when he served in the committee last go around, and Mr. Ribble from Wisconsin. Really appreciate all the work that's gone on by the team, if you will, to recognize that organic agriculture is indeed part of mainstream agriculture in America. The amendment I'm offering today simply removes statutory barriers that were created that are currently preventing the creation of organic checkoff program, similar to the other checkoff programs that have for other commodities in American agriculture. It will grant the USDA the authority to consider an application for a promotion order by the organic sector, if they would decide to do so. It just creates the opportunity. This does not create a checkoff in itself. And it would define organic as a commodity for the purposes of research and promotion orders. It provides organic producers and handlers a choice. Should an organic promotion order be approved by USDA in the future, organic operations would be able to select a promotion order that provides the most benefit for them, just like we would in all walks of life, the relevant conventional order or the organic order. It's important to note that this is, again, not trying to be conventional versus organic. This is hopefully getting organic into the mainstream of American agriculture. Organics is actually, as the previous representative from California talked about, one of the fastest growing segments in agriculture. It's actually increased in output during the worst recession in American history. It's a $35 billion industry. And I think this is an opportunity for us to build a bigger tent. American agriculture is under siege. I don't care if it's here in this country. Urban folks do not understand where their food and fiber comes from. Foreign competition is relentless. They do not have the same standards we do. It's time for American agriculture to band together and promote and help one another compete in a very, very difficult global marketplace. We already have checkoff programs for our friends in beef, pork, milk, cotton, countless other commodities right now. I think it's important for the advertising campaigns to make sure American consumers know they're getting the best and healthiest food in the world, no matter the source. It's also critical for research. One of the ways that the growers themselves help pay for research takes the burden off the taxpayer with plant and pest and disease issues and also best practices. Again, I'll emphasize, the checkoff program is zero cost to the taxpayer. This is something the industry has to agree to by a supermajority. This is something they have to agree to on their own, no cost to the American taxpayer. Actually, in the last Congress, Congressman Welsh offered a similar amendment. The amendment was withdrawn under an agreement that we'd work on this with USDA. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Ranking Member. Committee staff and others worked on this. USDA has confirmed after that work that there are no barriers to implementation of the amendment as is drafted here before you. And yesterday, our friends in the Senate considered the same amendment during a markup on the Senate Farm Bill, and it passed by a voice vote. Voice vote. Emphasize that, my friends and colleagues. Not a single opposition. I urge my colleagues in the House Ag Committee to do the same kind of support here today. I want to thank the committee for its patience through the process, and Ranking Member and the Chairman for their interest in the amendment. Thank you, sir. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. The chair recognizes himself to strike the last word and to be recognized for 5 minutes. I guess, simply put, let me say, commodity checkoff programs have traditionally been designed to provide a mechanism for producers of individual products to come together and do research and generically promote their product. I would note that while I very much appreciate where the gentleman's coming from, I'm still not comfortable with the language. Since organic is a process, not a product, never have we authorized a process-based promotion program before, and I have concerns about that. I would just simply say to my colleagues, I think this needs more work. There is a dramatic difference between a process and a product. It does not mean that I'm not sympathetic to my colleague. It doesn't mean that I'm not sympathetic and supportive of the industry. It's just at this time I'm not comfortable with the language and the direction it takes us compared to traditional programs that we've all watched and worked in action. And therefore, I must in good faith oppose the amendment and urge my colleagues to oppose the
Will
amendment.
the gentleman yield?
Gentleman from Texas.
Just a point of clarification. This appears to exempt anything certified as organic or 100% organic from any other checkoff programs. So if there are checkoff programs with respect to a particular product, then these folks would be out of that checkoff program and would get, in effect, a free ride for whatever benefits broccoli production or promotion of broccoli.
The gentleman will yield.
It's not my time, but but it appears that it exempts those folks from that. Is that?
Yeah, the producer actually gets to make a choice. You know, he shouldn't have to double pay. He shouldn't have double jeopardy. What they do get to do is decide whether or not they want to certify their product as an organic for the promotional order or through some.
So if there's not a promotional order for organic, and they exempt out, and there is a checkoff program for the product they're producing, they can exempt out of that program.
No, they cannot.
Simply by calling themselves organic.
No, they cannot. There's an audit trail in the bill. As you know, all organic production is certified organic, so there's an audit trail. So if you're trying to game the system, like anybody would game the system, there's an easy way for USDA to determine if they're gaming the system.
Help me understand this. Notwithstanding any provision of a commodity promotion law, a person that produces, handles, markets, yada, yada, may be exempt from the payment of an assessment under a commodity promotion law with respect to any agriculture commodity that is certified as organic or 100% organic. So
that is, again, if I may, he has to make a choice. He can only be exempt from the conventional order if he decides to go with the organic order.
But if there's not an organic order, he can't exempt out unless it is
correct.
Organic.
He has to pay the conventional commodity assessment.
Provide the gentleman's analysis, reclaiming my time and asking a question to my colleague in a theoretical sense. Does that mean if I'm an organic beef producer, I could pick between which program I would want?
Correct.
And determine which program might be the cheapest, or I just would be able to decide which way to go?
Absolutely, hopefully to promote American agriculture.
I yield back the balance of my time. Anyone else seek recognition on to strike the last word? Seeing no other request, the gentleman from Wisconsin seeks recognition, I assume, to strike the last word.
Strike last word, Mr. Chairman.
Gentleman's recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank my colleague, Mr. Schrader, for bringing the amendment. I'm always kind of struck by some of the folks on the more conservative side or our side of the aisle that have issues with organics. Here's an industry that came up out of nowhere, very entrepreneurial, oftentimes small, kind of the heart of America's entrepreneurial investment. And these folks have created a product within agriculture that demands a higher price. It's a free market system. And they've created, in Wisconsin alone, a market that's around $800 million a year. And this is something we ought to be applauding, not condemning. And I don't see a checkoff as being a real problem. I mean, the industry has to pay for it. They cover it. They're willing to do it to promote their own products. And it seems like a pretty good approach. I mean, there's already an organic exemption under current law, so I don't know why this would be such an issue. And it's also such that checkoffs, when you get in those programs, the USDA rules prohibit you from disparaging conventionals. So it's not like they're going to disparage them, they're going to promote what they do. And so while I'm a huge supporter of conventional agriculture, and quite frankly, I buy a lot of conventional foods myself, but I want to have the choice to buy organic when I want to have the choice to buy organic. And it ought to be my right to buy organic. And if the industry wants to use a checkoff system to promote it and grow it, these are homegrown American products, not imported products. So I commend Mr. Schrader for bringing the amendment, and I would encourage my colleagues to support it.
Would the gentleman yield back, Chairman? Before he yields back, would the gentleman yield?
I'll yield back. I'm completed, Mr.
Yield
Chairman.
to me before you yield back.
Okay, sure.
You make the point about not disparaging, but how do I present my organic pork without disparaging non-organic pork?
Well, you can present something in a positive. Whether it's organic pork or beef or corn or any vegetable, they talk about how they grow it, how they raise it, why they do it that way, and then the consumer has a right to choose to purchase products that are often more expensive in the marketplace, and that's not disparaging someone else's system.
But when you're moving